Hello everyone, my name is Cortex and today I'm bringing you guys another commander guide. Today we got none other than Zhuge Liang or ZL or Zhuge or Zhuge or whatever you want to call him. I call him Zhuge Liang. He's an archer versatility and skill commander. You can get his heads from the wheels, from universal heads, from the legendary tavern, and also interestingly enough, recently he was added into the daily special offer. And honestly, out of all the commanders, as you can see me scrolling through them here, out of all the commanders that are available in the daily special offer, I think Zhuge Liang is probably the best, if not very close to the best, depending on what you need. He's an extremely strong archer commander, and yeah, let's go over his skills and sort of what he does, and explain why he's as strong as he is. So on his first skill here, we got Circle AoE, which deals 2000 damage factors to 5 targets. So it's the same as Wise, she has Circle AoE with 1000 rage requirement, with obviously as most AoE skills, each target reduces the damage dealt to each target by 15%. Troops hit by this skill deal 15% less damage for 3 seconds, so everyone that gets hit by this deals 15% less damage for 3 seconds, so this is a debuff. Now his second skill, he gets 30% archer health and he gets 5% increased all damage. Now if your troop is on the map, whenever it is inflicted with a control effect, and a control effect is effects such as silence, disarm, and heal immune, it has a 50% chance to negate the effect and deal direct damage to the troop that inflicted it of a damage factor 500. So he has an instant proc here whenever somebody tries to apply a control effect on him. And obviously damage and health, which is very good. On his third skill, he's got a 20% skill damage bonus when you have only archers, and a 10% chance to gain 50% attack for 3 seconds. So yeah, quite strong, quite a lot of attack. And his fourth skill, whenever your troop uses an active skill, if the troop does not already have the marquee effect, you gain the marquee effect, increasing damage dealt by 10%. And the marquee effect is this effect cannot be dispelled by other troops is what the marquee effect is. I thought you would explain it, but okay. If the troop already has the marquee effect and contains only archer units, it will dispel the marquee effect and deal direct damage to up to 3 nearby enemies of damage factor 1500. Not affected by skill damage buffs. So this damage does not get increased by skill damage buffs. But basically what this means is whenever you use a skill, if you do not have the marquee effect, you gain the marquee effect. Which means you gain 10% increased damage for 10 seconds when you have the marquee effect. Now if you already do have the marquee effect, and you have only archer units, you remove the marquee effect and you deal 1500 damage to up to 3 nearby enemies. And I believe this is not lowered by the amount of troops in the AoE. I could be wrong about that though, but it doesn't say anywhere. So yeah, this is very, very powerful. And you can see on his first and like every other cast, basically, he does like a double skill hit, which is incredibly strong. Now his expertise. When you enter combat, you gain the marquee effect, which is also again why he fires that double proc on the first skill cycle, which increases their damage by 10% for 15 seconds. Whenever you deal skill damage with the Burning of Xinye, which is the active skill, or Marquis Zhongwu skills, which is the fourth skill, you gain 30 rage. So he also has a built-in rage engine whenever you hit someone with your active skill, or when you hit someone with your fourth skill, you gain 30 rage. So this is incredibly powerful. He's extremely, extremely strong, and yeah, this is why we're covering him today, because he's one of the, if not still the best archer commander in the game. Now, when it comes to minimum sort of or optimal skills to use before using him, I would say a good place to start using him if you don't have other expertise legendary commanders, you can start using this commander from 5511, I would say. And I like this skill a lot, so I would probably just leave the last 2 open and try to get the skills to land into the 4th one, but it's not the end of the world if they land into the 3rd skill, and get him expertise eventually, because his expertise is very, very powerful. Okay, now for gear and armaments, it's quite straightforward. I have a very, very basic archer set on him right now. What you do want to do though, is you do want to get these archer boots to level 5. And the reason for that is, as you can see in his skills, he has 0 march speed, and archers generally are also pretty slow. Most archer commanders don't have a lot of march speed. And archers are quite a slow unit on top of that. And, well, again, Zhuge doesn't have any march speed. So yeah, I would recommend everyone to try to get to level 5 on the archer boots. This is very, very important and is going to make your archers feel a lot more playable. So yeah, get these to level 5. Okay, now for armaments, on Zhuge Liang you want to run Wedge. because he does skill damage, and Wedge is the best formation for all skill damage dealers. Well, most skill damage dealers. And I have quite a good set on him. Use whatever is the best. You want to look for skill damage boosts, such as Intrepid, and, well, any other skill damage boost, basically. And also, obviously, Assertive and all damage, things like this are very good. Basically, anything that increases your rage regen or increases your skill damage dealt or your damage dealt is very, very powerful. Because he does a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. Now, for his talents, it's quite straightforward, like most archer commanders. You want to get full skill because you want to fire your skills as fast as possible. And you can make it look something like this. Now, another option if you're rallying, or if you prefer having more stats, so to speak, you can run this. This, I would say, is probably the best for rallying, and, well, I think this is better for field. But you can run this for field, the difference is not big, I've tested both. But yeah, overall, use this if you're rallying, use this for field, or you can use this for rallying as well. It's just if you're getting swarmed, this is going to be better for your rally. Okay, now, for his pairings, we have quite a few commanders to go through. Let's go through the archer commanders first, and yeah, first of all, a very straightforward option that 9 out of 10 players today use is Zhuge Liang with Herman. Zhuge Liang primary, Herman secondary. You can run it either way, I prefer the skill primary, but you can also run Herman primary if you prefer that. And Herman is very, very good with Zhuge Liang. He applies poison stacks, which makes the target take more skill damage. He also has nice stats and march speed, which Zhuge desperately needs. He really needs this march speed. He also has an AoE skill damage bonus, defense reduction, damage bonus versus infantry, poison stacks, etc, right? So Herman is a very, very powerful commander. I'll say it now, Zhuge and Herman are the two best archer commanders in the game. I don't think they came as a surprise to anyone. But yeah, this is a very straightforward pairing. You can run this and you'll do great. Unless you're Chad and don't know how to play with archers. But yeah, you'll do fantastic with this pairing. Now, apart from that, people are kind of scared to split these two apart, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Now, what you want to avoid are commanders like YSG, and you might say, why? YSG has a lot of skill damage bonuses, and, you know, they seem like they have quite good synergy with both having circle AoE and both wanting to do a lot of AoE skill damage. The reason you don't want to run YSG is, like I just mentioned, Herman has march speed, YSG does not, and Zhuge Liang does not. So you definitely want to make sure you run him with a commander that has march speed. Because if you don't, he's not gonna move anywhere. He's gonna sit there like a sitting duck and you're gonna get wrecked. So do not run him with YSG. And that's why when people are asking me, I have YSG maxed, I'm coming into Season of Conquest. Which archer commander should I max to pair with him? I always say Herman. Because you cannot pair Zhuge Liang with YSG because it has no march speed. So you should use Herman YSG over Zhuge YSG. See what I'm saying? Okay. Now, other options are Nebu. Nebu is not that bad. He's still quite an okay commander. He does decent AoE damage, but not the best. Not even close to the power level of Herman. But if this is what you have, you can use Nebu with Zhuge. It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Another good option, one of his better options, I would say, is Ash Urbanipal. Ash gives him a lot of stats, a lot of skill damage bonuses, stacking skill damage bonuses, which are not great for open field stacking effects, generally speaking, because you don't get to sit on a target for that long, or don't stay in combat for that long. But yeah, I mean, Ash is great. Ash is a great commander, and you can do great with Zhuge Liang and Ash if you don't have Herman available, or if you're using Herman elsewhere. Now, I think that's it for archer commanders. I assume you can also run a Shajar primary with Zhuge secondary. I don't think it's very good. I don't think Shajar is that good overall. You can do that. You can also run Boudica primary, Zhuge secondary. Boudica is quite a weak commander these days, but it does work. It does work. Other than that, I don't think there's that many options. Henry, kinda same boat as Boudica. Not great for open field. Single target damage. They're both decently tanky with some skill damage reductions and some defense. But yeah, I would stay away from using Boudica and Henry in the field these days, if you can avoid it. Now, the last pairing that we have to talk about is none other than, where is he? Philip. Philip is a fantastic commander with Zhuge Liang. And the reason for that is that Philip is the strongest amplifying commander in the game. He gives you a 40% all damage bonus when he uses his active skill. And he gives you another 30% all damage bonus here from his third skill. And now if you think about 70% all damage bonus, and you think about Zhuge's 2000 AoE damage factor plus 1500 damage factor plus 500 damage factor if he gets control effect on him, it is a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage, okay? Zhuge Liang with Philip is one of the best pairs you can run in game, and it's gonna do fantastic for you. Basically with Philip, and I went over this in my Philip guide, make sure to check it out if you haven't already, you want to make sure that you use this commander with the commander that's gonna do the most damage. And on top of that, Philip also grants archers 35% health, which is insane, and it gives you the 20% march speed that Zhuge definitely needs. So yeah, either Philip primary, Zhuge Liang secondary, or Zhuge Liang primary, Philip secondary is going to do great. It will all depend on your equipment and what that situation looks like, which is going to be the better primary. Personally, I'm going to be running Philip primary because I have pretty good leadership gear. But if you have better archer gear than leadership gear, then run the Zhuge Liang primary and it's gonna do fantastic. Now, apart from pairings, how is his power level compared to other archer commanders? And I already sort of leaked that a little bit with what I said with him and Herman earlier. But in my opinion, if you pair him with the correct commander, meaning a commander that has any march speed, he is the best archer commander in the game. And for that reason, he is still worth investing in. People are still asking, is because he's getting quite old. I mean, he's not that old, but he's not new anymore. He's, well, 2-3 cycles in, right? Since we got Zhuge Liang. So, yeah, I would say he's still worth investing in. And what I look at when I look at if a commander is still worth investing in is if they release another strong commander, is this commander going to hit the bench on the next cycle? And Zhuge Liang is not hitting the bench anytime soon. He is fantastic. So he's definitely safe to still invest in. If you're buying the daily special offer and you don't know what to get, definitely get Zhuge Liang if you don't have him maxed. Get him from the legendary tavern, spin his wheel, and you're gonna love this commander. It's gonna be one of the best choices you ever make in this game to get Zhuge Liang if you don't have him already. Now for Canyon, there's also a couple interesting things you can do. You can run things like YSG in there because you don't care as much about the move speed. But so far, and you can also frontline him with Shajar, which is Zhuge Liang primary, Shajar secondary, which has been quite interesting. Other than that, you can run him backline with Herman, or you can run him backline with Philip. Zhuge Liang primary, Philip secondary, or Philip primary, Zhuge Liang secondary. It's also quite powerful in the Canyon meta currently. He's a very strong Canyon commander, probably one of the best, if not the best Canyon commander in the game right now. Circle AoE damage, tons of damage, debuffs, everything, right? Zhuge is great. So yeah, that's it on the Zhuge Liang commander guide. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to throw a like on here. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're enjoying the videos. It helps out a ton and it's completely free to you. Join the Discord linked in the description down below. And I'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.